Hey guys, this here is part 2 of a 3-parter involving Statblock Man. Part 1 was done by RPG Tales, and part 2 was done by Artificial DM. So make sure you check out part 3 on Artificial DM's channel after the video, and if you haven't watched part 1, then you should go watch it so you have some context. But without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, dear listener. Last we left this bard's tale, I told you of Statblock Man, a man who could recite entire stat blocks of any creature that crossed his path. His tale continues with how he combined his prowess for metagaming with a love of spotlight stealing. We also see how this wretched narrator failed to stop him. The cast is as follows. Me, as the DM, your humble narrator and a cursed fool. The fighter, a player who had more patience than they had the right to, and was quite vocal of their distaste toward the subject of our story. The barbarian, who was a quiet fellow who suffered mostly in silence. The artificer, who had a penchant for forgiveness and tolerance, though he did speak out against Statblock Man. The sorcerer, who is a friend of the fighter, and someone who also actively disliked Statblock Man. And then, finally, the legend himself, Statblock Man. A man of metagaming prowess few have seen, and someone eager to bask in the spotlight for all to witness their greatness. He played an Aasimar Celestial Warlock, with a Grave Cleric multiclass. A self-declared hero. After the debacle with the Revenant and Statblock Man's inexplicable relaying of his tragic backstory, I took the man aside.
"My dear fellow,"
said I
appreciate your enthusiasm, but you need to consider others. Also, please keep in mind that you are not the DM.
Statblock Man agreed. He profusely apologized to any and all who would listen, and I sighed in the greatest of relief.
Good. The problem is resolved.
Or, such was my thought at the time. If only it were true. The next few sessions saw peace. Statblock Man reined in his behavior, and the party continued merrily onward to whatever doom I had prepared for them. There were flashes of his need for the spotlight, glimmers, but nothing extravagant. However, one night, when an innkeeper asked for a story, Statblock Man couldn't resist. Out burst his tumultuous tale of terror and tragedy, how he had embraced to follow the god of death, if only to find true purpose. How he had lost companions in the past, and feared that he was the sole cause of their death, and how he might lead his current newfound friends to similarly gruesome and untimely ends. The fighter audibly groaned, and spoke out of character.
"We get it. Can we move on?"
"But
Statblock Man sputtered.
"Enough,"
I said, and moved the session forward. Soon enough, the party were heading onward yet again. However, they were beset by their old foe, the Revenant. Statblock Man began to declare that he did not know anything about the creature, and proceeded to act accordingly, but not after a luxurious description of opening his wings to fly out of its reach. During the fight, the players came into a disagreement over a rule. I mulled over the problem, and was beginning to declare my judgment when Statblock Man spoke.
"Well, I know what I would do,"
said he, most smugly. The sorcerer and fighter cried out in a single voice.
"We know, but if only there was someone who made these rulings when there was a disagreement. Like the DM you just spoke over."
He was caught off guard. I sighed, declared my ruling, and moved on. The fight continued, but the dice declared a dismaying defeat should luck not be found. However, a hero was found in Statblock Man, as he charged the fell Revenant and used Inflict Wounds. A wonderfully powerful spell indeed, one he had been bragging about for weeks. One that he was most eager to try if merely given the chance. How it would be
So powerful.
were he to roll a natural 20. And as fate declared my doom yet again, he rolled a 20, most natural, and thus the crowing began. A few sessions later, Statblock Man continued to declare how he had
Saved everyone from the Revenant with a natural 20.
ignoring that his previous behavior had endangered some of the party, and that the fighter and barbarian had done much to whittle the Revenant. Yet what was more egregious was that he would take up our time by declaring mundane aspects of his greatness. The number of cantrips he had, how much potential he had, his grand contributions to our noble cause. By this point, my companion's voiced concerns in private. First, the artificer spoke up that Statblock Man was beginning to grate him. The fighter and sorcerer assented to this, the fighter confiding that they were losing their enjoyment. The barbarian was more ambivalent. And here, dear reader, is where I faltered. I should have removed the man of stats then and there. But I was also a player in his game, on another day. I should have simply saved myself the troubles to come. But I begged my friends for time, for I thought, surely if I talk to him again, all will be well. And indeed, all was well, for a session or two. Yet, by now, the party was in trouble with a deadly dame of great wealth and influence. Though, in private, Statblock Man still declared that he was of great help to the party. How he never erred or did wrong. I was non-committal in my replies, though did mention dice are fickle. And thus, my folly was revealed yet again in the events preceding. The party encountered a Dybbuk, a demon that uses corpses as puppets. The party had embroiled themselves in a fight with a creature I was certain none had seen, for I had scoured the tomes looking to stump Statblock Man. However, he saw through my cleverness, and once more declared the creature's stats for all to hear.
We must kill this thing, for it will find a new host soon. It is a foul demon.
He declared, asking for no knowledge check to my utter surprise.
Cease!
We all declared.
Stop this maddening metagaming!
He was silent. Afterward, the fighter unleashed their ire upon Statblock Man. The artificer nodded in agreement with the sorcerer. The barbarian even voiced his dissent, and I spoke yet again with that woeful man of stats. I expressed my extreme dislike for his recounting of stats. I decried his spotlight hogging and his perpetual penchant for purposeful self-preening. I was losing patience, I said. He begged and pleaded one final chance, and I wavered in my resolve to remove him then and there, to never see hide nor hair again. I thought my ire would contain him, so I concurred. One final chance. And thus my folly was complete, for I once more allowed him to carry on. Fate would have me pay most dearly for my blatant idiocy. In Part 3, our tale of woe concludes with a series of events that still leave me at a loss for words. So make sure you go check out the conclusion on Artificial DM's channel. But in any case, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a story that you'd like me to narrate, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.